Believe I should be live, everybody. Welcome to Hackathon 2018. Took a little bit, I know, I'm sorry. I was finalizing my donation over at, speedrun.com/heck18/donate. You guys should all make sure to go do that. But, anyways, I'll be here running Half-Life WAN Scriptless. The category means that I'm playing on the WAN version of the game, so I can bunny hop and all that. And Scriptless means no scripts. I have to use my scroll wheel to jump. So the first chapter is a little bit of a long one. So I'm just about to start the run. So the timer is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Here we are at the start of the run. Anomalous materials. Half-Life is a very dense game, first of all, I just want to say. So if you feel confused at all during the run, I'd recommend going to the Source Runs wiki. You can just put it in Google real quick, because there are quite a lot of glitches that are very interesting. This game, of course, is made in 1998, so there are quite a lot of nuances that we are going to exploit. So the first thing we do here is get our HEV suit. You can see a couple of things about the HUD, first of all, is that in the middle you can see our speed. This is part of the client we play on. So it's nice to see our bunny hops. We also have our health in the bottom left, and right next to it we have a value that's at 0 right now. That's our armor. So we'll see that change as the run progresses. But for right now, we're just going to be bunny hopping through. Half-Life's an interesting game for a couple of reasons. First of all is that the way the NPCs are programmed is very weird. There are a bunch of doors that are supposed to stop you in this game, like that one over there with the scanner. But what's interesting is that every NPC in the game has a key that will open this door. So there's a cutscene here, but I don't really want to wait through it, so I'm going to push that guy into that door, and he'll open it up right for me. He's a good sport. But yeah, a couple things to note about Half-Life is that the main movement mechanic is going to be bunny hopping, and that second of all is that the game is FPS based more than other games. If you've played a game on a speedrun on PC, you might know that frame rates usually are a big rule in the sense that it can definitely affect the game. For Half-Life, the game does calculations based on the frame. And because of that, we can manipulate our frame rate in ways that will help us, go faster or slower. One example is going to be these guys here. By the way, I'm pushing them closer to the scanners because they're talking. It's kind of boring, I'm not going to lie. I mean, what are they even talking about? Nothing will go wrong? Yeah, doubt that. Anyways, so right here I'm actually going to lower my FPS. If you look at the bottom right of my game, directions are hard. You'll see it says 20 FPS. Now it's back to 100. But yeah, this game has quite a lot to it, so I'm going to try to take my deep breaths now while we're still in a little bit of a cutscene. We'll be in a cutscene for the next 2 minutes. If you can take a bathroom break, if you need to go get some coffee, if you need to go donate, make sure you get that all right now because this run's going to start heating up. Anyways, just to preface this game, if you've never played Half-Life before, first of all, I'd very much recommend it. Its difficulty very much holds up to this day. In fact, I tried playing Half-Life on hard like a month or so ago. It's actually quite hard, I'm not gonna lie. I know this cutscene, so we're just gonna press that button. But basically, in Half-Life, very old game made by Valve. I know you might know them nowadays for things like Counter-Strike and Dota 2. But anyways, regardless, we play as Gordon Freeman, the silent protagonist. He has a PhD in some sort of science, I forget. But frankly, it doesn't matter that much because all our training, all our education is going to pushing an object into this beam. And surprise, surprise, here in Black Mesa, those experiments aren't going to turn out so well. And we're going to be opening a portal into an alternate dimension of some sorts. Yeah, it's a little bit blurry to be honest, but we're going to open a portal and a bunch of monsters are going to come through. And I have to say that for you guys because we're actually going to be skipping that. There's going to be a crystal coming out of this cage in about a minute. And we have to push into this beam. But after that, there's a minute cutscene where it kind of introduces us the new alien species from Zen. And that's kind of slow. So we're going to skip that in a way using an object boost. So what makes this possible is the fact that, first of all, up over there in the sky somewhere, very high up, there's a trigger, an invisible trigger. And when you hit that trigger, it's a debug trigger that the developers left in, and it will send us to the next chapter. So doing that combined with an object boost, which is a glitch that will let us maintain the speed of an object, because Gordon Freeman is Hulk Hogan, and he will push objects at about 2,000 units per second. So I'm going to try doing a setup here, so I can ramp it off the side of this machine here. We'll look right about here. We're going to pause buffer to get just the right amount of speed, go flying into the air, hit that trigger, land onto here, right into this observation room. That saves about 2 minutes. And now the run starts as we're here in unforeseen consequences. Right after this laser beam destroys this door. Oh yeah, we're bunny hopping, we're getting right into it. So this chapter has been named by world record holder Proto-Os, Jumping Through Small Things. And that's very good title, I would call it. We're jumping through some small windows. There are a bunch of guys in elevators. Guys, if your power goes out and you're in like a deep underground facility, don't take the elevator. Jesus Christ. Like, oh my god. There's some zombies here. Again, a common theme for the speedrun is going to be going by enemies or just killing them really quickly. Here's another small thing to jump through. Ooh. It's a little bit of a small explosion. Another small thing to jump through. Here we're going to be picking up the 9mm handgun. It looks slightly out of our way, but it'll save time later on. More bunny hopping, more enemies that we don't really have to deal with because that's a little bit slow. You might also notice we have 7 HP. Health management is a really important part of the speedrun, as, you know, we're going to try to be doing explosive boosts and all that later on once we get more guns. This next map is going to show the power of object boosting, as we're going to use it to clear massive gaps. Here we're going to break our fall damage off of this slope. We get to maintain a lot of speed with that, and this gap right there is cleared with an object boost. Oh yeah. Now we're going to start another NPC abuse. Again, all enemies in the game will open doors, so if we just shoot that guy, he'll get scared and open that door for us, which saves crawling through a vent, which is kind of slow. Speaking of crawling through vents, it's kind of slow as you see here. There are some head crabs you gotta shoot, but it's okay. Again, bunny hopping through. Coming up is another one of those object boosts. Jump on a head crab's head. They don't mind it too much, right? Get a little bit of speed. Head crabs again. Killing things isn't as much of a problem because we do this speedrun on the easy difficulty, which means we take the least amount of damage from enemies and we get the most from health kits and all that. Coming up here is called Barney Skip. It's an NPC manipulation. We're going to shoot Barney so he gets angry at us, then we're going to grab some grenades. Of course, this AI will be scared from grenades because they know that it's going to blow up and kill them. So if we throw it in a certain direction, we can manipulate Barney into running into this red door back here. And when he does that, he'll open up for us. And that skips going through a freezer section of the game, which saves about a minute. It's a nice little skip. Nice little skip. NPC abuses do save a lot of time, as will show up in this next chapter here. We got hostiles, as it skips the whole chapter. We'll shoot this guy in the leg, push into him, block his path here, and he'll go open that door for us. Usually you're supposed to loop around this whole complex here to get through that vent to your left. That vent over there. But that scientist will open for us and we're free to go into Blast Pit, which is pretty nice. Blast Pit is probably one of the longer chapters in the game. One of the more skillful chapters in the game. So we're going to start off by doing a grenade boost after we fall down here. It's important to note that ladders will break our fall damage because the game stops all speed when we hit a ladder. Not if you don't hit the ladder though, like that, you just die. Just like that. We'll be doing a grenade boost. If you played this game casually, you might have taken that cart back there, but carts go at about 400, 500 units per second, and you see we're going quite higher than that. Yeah. We need to break these boxes because they have some health kits inside of them. Because health and armor is going to be really important for about the next 2 minutes, as we're going to be doing some grenade boost routing for Blast Pit. If you've never played this game before, the main premise of the chapter Blast Pit is that in the center Blast Pit of the complex we're coming up on, there will be a giant monster in the middle that's disrupting our progress from going on. Of course, Gordon Freeman's opportunity, or more or less responsibility, is to kill that monster so we can continue progressing. Normally you're supposed to go through that middle room a bunch to see the monster, so you can get all scared and all that, but we're not really about that. So what we're going to do here is start bunny hopping, just like that, over here, and that'll skip going through the middle room for the first time, because we have to go arm ourselves with the materials necessary to kill that boss. Also there, we just sloped off of that pipe, which cancels our fall damage. You'll see that happening again on that button right there. Fall damage is very easy to avoid in this game if you now do it right. You'll see it right here. I'll activate the power, and then I'll strafe right down and die. That's not intended. That's also not intended. Hold on. There we go. We'll slope right off that button. Take no fall damage. It's also important to note that in this game, you can use items through walls. Just like this, there's a health kit on the other side of the wall. But the game only calculates how far it is from you if you can use it, not if there's a wall in front of it. So that's quite nice for our sake. Here's another object boost that I kind of stuffed, so I'll reload it just for you guys. Get a lot of speed. We're going to be charging up a grenade here because we're going to be going flying across the map here. Again, avoiding that center room because it's kind of slow to go through. And now we have to activate the fuel and the oxygen so we can hit the fire button in the center room, which will kill that green monster. Which I've heard, you've probably heard me talk about, but you've actually haven't seen yet. Because the only time we see him is when we will kill him. And again, it's very common to have very low HPs at this part of the game if you're doing the speedrun route, so. And another thing you'll notice is that we'll be climbing through these vent sections here, and that these sections are very slow. Of course, we can't bunny hop, and bunny hopping is the main movement in this game, so. Oh, it's kind of rough. It's cool though. We'll activate those buttons, and now we have everything we need to kill the monster in the center room and progress. So we'll just be bunny hopping down here. Again, using this lever through the wall, because normally you're not allowed to go through there. You have to go through it the other way that we skipped by bunny hopping over the gap. So here's the button. We'll hit it through the wall. Now this green monster is going to be dying out. You might have caught a glimpse of it there for a second, but you probably won't be seeing it again. It takes a little bit to die out, so we're going to go to this scientist over here. We're going to save him from the zombie. And if you have under 50 HP, every scientist in the game will want to heal you, and they'll give you a shot, heal you for 25 HP, so that's pretty nice. Coming up is one of the more confusing glitches in the run. It's called push trigger abuse. Essentially, coming up, there's going to be a water section that has some barrels in it, and the water is supposed to push the barrels. However, if we spam crouch by having it bound to our mouse wheel, the game will get confused and it'll push us too, just like this. So yeah, we'll get to stop ourselves going right here. We'll hit another push trigger there, and get over into this pipe. And we're just about done with Blast Pit. There's another trick coming up. We're going to throw a grenade inside of a box, and that's going to extend its radius so that it destroys everything around it. And coming up is another really short chapter in the game. If you thought we got hostiles was short, just look at this. Power up. This area is blocked off. However, if you're just really good at parkour, which I seem to be failing at right now, but... Ooh, this is disappointing. Again, if is a strong word, you'll be able to jump right over. Here are the objects we exploded on the last map. And we can start one of the harder chapters, chambers. Ugh. Don't speedrun Portal, ladies and gentlemen, just don't. Anyways, that's a nice little PSA. We'll start on a rail. You might notice the chapter is called On a Rail. You're supposed to be doing this with a cart, because you're supposed to be on a rail. However, as we established before in Blast Pit, the carts, they're really slow. And we can bunny hop, so... we're going to prefer that method instead. Again, and I just want to clarify that bunny hopping is a green form. It's good for the environment rather than public transportation, so learn bunny hopping, kids. There's another forward object boost to get us through this part of the game. Oh, you can see the new creatures from Zen and the US military aren't exactly getting along so well. Oh, this is going to be kind of tough. I have very low HP. If you do a couple of save loads, the game gets confused when you save and load because it has to reset the aggro on all the enemies. So because of that, if you just continuously save load, you're essentially invincible to all the enemies. Again, I kind of stuffed it up there. But anyways, now we get to start cool part of Rails where you get to bunny hop through all this danger. It's very easy to fail this, as if we hit the center part of the rail, we'll take damage, which is not something we want when you have 19 HP. Here's another instance of saving and loading to reset animations. These Vortigons will never touch us as long as we save and load, which is quite nice. Let's keep bunny hopping here. Again, these little blocks here, we usually have to go into side areas and raise them if we have a cart. But we don't have a cart, we just have bunny hopping. So, nothing stopping us there from just jumping over them. Coming up will be an edge bug. I never fully explained them, but essentially it works with the game's collision. That if you get right at the edge of something and fall off of it, the game won't really register that you've hit something, so it won't calculate fall damage. You'll see that coming up just about here. There's a nice little setup for this one. If you look at this wall and crouch, you'll fall safe and sound. Normally that fall will kill you. Grab some HP over there from that gunner. Kill yourself. Don't kill yourself, children. Or adults. Doesn't really matter. Just don't do it. Now here's the objective of this chapter. We have this big nuke that we want to set off. Oh, this guy got a couple of shots on me. Anyways, we'll be hitting it through the wall. And now we have some downtime. If there are any donations to be read. I know. That might be a thing.
So we have a couple of donations. We have one from that says, I got laid off recently. Say you guys are all awesome and Call of Duty will be dating. We are almost ready for you all to see how far we have come. Racing Monster. We have $50 from Vrindar that says B.
Well, anyways, hopping right back into the run here, we're going to be finishing off on a rail after that nuke goes off of some sort. It's a satellite, I believe, actually. And we'll be getting on this cart. This is the only time in the game we have to ride the cart. Oh, I got stuck in the cart. That's exactly why you don't want to ride carts. But anyways, and you'll see why in just a second, because there is a wall right there that we can't bunny hop through, but the cart can break through it, so that's quite nice. Anyways, we'll keep swimming through here. When Gordon Freeman isn't beating Usain Bolt in the 100-meter dash, of course, he accesses his inner Michael Phelps, which is pretty nice. You can see he's quite a fast swimmer. 255 hammer units? I don't know, man. Anyways, here comes a nice B-hop sequence, if I can get it, to this water section. Just like that, over the water. Skips quite a bit. And when you thought we were done with the B-hop sequences, we're actually going to hit it right again, hopping in that hole in that fence, which is pretty nice. And just in case you were tired of us jumping over gaps, I got another one for you. This whole gap, you can say hi to G-Man. And goodbye, because we won't be seeing him for a little bit more. Here we'll be having a Vortigaunt open a door, which is kind of weird, but even all the monsters in the game can open doors. In fact, Gordon Freeman is the only person who can't open doors, which is quite surprising. Anyways, here's a small little freezer room that we gotta go through. We'll get an object boost here. More Vortigaunts. I don't know, I'm not feeling it. I'll just save and load, you know? Keep it safe. Also, I have some pretty nice HP right now. That's cool. But we're about to ruin it because we have a SMG boost coming up right here. This room is a warehouse that's filled with a bunch of ninjas, but they're annoying to fight and they're really fast, and I don't like dealing with fast people, so we'll just get right into this room. We'll heal up to 51 HP to set up an NPC abuse in a little bit. And yeah, this is going to be the end of Apprehension. So if you don't know, to preface this, you might have noticed that the US military isn't really on our side, even though you think they want to be killing the enemies. Essentially, the US military has been given the orders to kill everything so that no one can hear about this and that the people won't be set into a panic. That this is where all their money is going to. People opening portals to alien dimensions. So, unfortunately, the government is trying to kill us here by putting us in this crusher. Fortunately for them, though, they left a crowbar, and as we all know, Gordon Freeman can do wonders with a crowbar, like break things, like that vent. I mean, if you're gonna trap the bad guy, you know, in a crusher, don't just put a vent. Like, that's a classic mistake. Rookie mistake. Anyways, we get to start residue processing. And in the speedrun, residue processing is one of the more unique chapters, as it features really close-range movements. We're gonna be in vents a lot, in small areas. So it's pretty unique. We keep on bunny hopping through. Let's try this vent here. There's an object boost you can do here with a small rock. However, it's quite challenging to do. It doesn't save an insane amount of time, but it looks really cool. I don't think I also ever explained what duck rolling is. Normally when you think of crouching, oh, just messed up that jump. But when you think of crouching in video games, you think of lowering your body to your legs. But in Half-Life, it's actually the opposite. It's your legs coming up to your body. And normally this doesn't mean a lot, but if we were to tap crouch and then uncrouch it, we'll be left in the air because our legs will of course be off the ground. Now if we do this consecutively by, let's say, binding crouch to our mouse wheel, we'll be able to get really small jumps out of crouching, and by doing this we'll be able to preserve our momentum in some bunny hopping scenarios. Of course, back there we did another push trigger abuse because this mucky water has it too. I'm going to pick up a gun. Guns are nice to work with. So of course we haven't been killing too many people in this run. We'll disable those crushers so we can get through. Here's one of the only examples in Half-Life where there's a cycle-based part. I missed the fastest cycle, but that's okay. Yeah, all this machinery is on cycles. It can save about 4-ish seconds if you get a fast cycle, but it's not the end of the world. And continuing with the idea of Half-Life being an FPS-based game, not first-person shooter, but frame rate based, frames per second based, if we lower our FPS right before we go into those trip mines, the game will calculate our collision less times a second, and because of that we're able to pass right through them. So it looks kind of weird on stream, I know. It might look like I dropped some frames, but trust me, it's all intended. And now we can start the big questionable chapter, otherwise known as questionable ethics. This is why we want about 49 HP. We want 50 HP or below, because we're going to be doing a big NPC abuse. If you see over here, there's a scanner right there, and that's going to be the scanner that gets us out of this chapter. So the things we need to do is get a scientist to open it for us. Now, of course, the game has obstacles in our way to stop that scientist, but however, if we have 50 HP or under, the NPC can be abused in such a way that it'll want to heal us, that it'll run through obstacles. It is quite nice. Another thing we'll be doing this chapter is getting the Gauss gun. The Gauss gun will be very important for the rest of the run, as it has recoil bursting. It's a gun that fires uranium rounds, and because of that it's very powerful. And it will give us massive boosts of speed that we can use not only to improve our bunny hopping, but to clear massive gaps, and you'll see that coming up here soon. But more importantly, we only have 1 SMG grenades, and explosive boosting is really important in this run. I'm going to trigger a cutscene here, and then I'm going to do some duplicating by killing this guy and saving and loading. The way this works is that the game saves the fact that the guy's dropping items, but it also saves the fact that there are currently items on the ground. So because of that, it doubles the items dropped if you keep saving and loading while the guy's dying. It's a little cruel, you get to see the guy dying on repeat, but works in our favor, so I'm not complaining. I'll come down here and grab this scientist. Normally these head crabs will scare him, but this guy just wants to heal us so badly that he just goes right through it. And coming up is going to be the surface tension, arguably the hardest chapter in the game. So once we get a certain amount of armor, we'll go right through. And we'll be starting going to the wide open. Now you're going to see how powerful this Gauss gun is that we picked up was. Man, I'm slurring my words left and right, but it's okay. We'll be grabbing some health kits here. Surface tension has some really important HP management. You might have heard of a trick called pipe to pipe. And we're going to Gauss boost across this massive gap and get stuck in an edge there between this mountain range. Works twice nicely. We're going to prepare our satchel here, as we're going to be doing a satchel boost. Up this ladder here, if we do a ladder strafe and then an explosive boost off of it, we're able to just get enough height to clear this gap. Just like so. And now, we want to end off this map with about 50 HP and 50 HP, 80 HP and 0 armor. If I get that, I can show off a cool trick called pipe to pipe. So I'm actually gonna try to lower my HP a little, or my armor a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's happening. That's fine though. I can do something called a self gauze boost. If you shoot the gauze at certain angles, the damage will reflect back onto you. We'll do that later in substitution for explosive boosting, because of course Gauss ammo is more plentiful than explosives. Oh, just missed that trick. Here's a massive cliff map that originally was supposed to go down and about, but if we get a well-timed Gauss boost, we're able to go right by. Also, I missed some Gauss ammo. This is going to be unfortunate. Kind of have to go a little improv here. Here's getting stuck in some pipes. Of course, this game was made in 1998. It's not the easiest to navigate. We're going to be boosting past all those guards and getting some grenades here. There's a tank battle here. Tanks fire really slowly, so it's not even like they're going to get to us, but be going in here. Normally we do a Gauss boost here, but I missed some Gauss ammo, so we're going to have to be doing another strategy. I'll be going over this fence. You can see I'm really familiar with this strategy. Anyways, we'll be going down here. This map is called Trip Mine Hell, which you're going to see why in a second. There are a bunch of trip mines. Oh yeah, that's a lot. We'll actually be abusing one here because it has a hitbox, so we can climb on top of it. Coming up here is going to be ammo duping, where there's going to be a box that has Gauss ammo, and by shooting the explosive box and the box that contains it at the same time, the game will think that it dies twice. Once for the shotgun shot that shoots it, and once for the explosive barrel. And because of that, it'll actually drop the item inside twice, which in this case will be Gauss ammo, which is really helpful because we'll be doing a bunch of Gauss boosting. And after that explosive boost in the last map, we'll have exactly 1 HP, but that's just enough to go into the infamous infinite health door, which if you've never played Half-Life before, this is a glitch that was probably due to some Valve programmer working overtime, some Valve map designer. And when they thought, I need to program this door, how much damage a door does when you get stuck in it. And they said, well, that should do 1 damage. So when they typed in the parameter, they put in -1. However, dealing -1 damage will actually heal you for 1 HP a frame. And because of that, you'll see here, my health just keeps going up and is not stopping. Of course, there's a limit to how much health you can heal, but there's no limit to how much damage you can take. And because of that, we're just going to be getting all the health needed for all the explosive boosting and fall damage we want to take for the rest of the run. I'll be opting for about 2,500 HP. Of course, you can't all see it at once. But, yeah, it's all in cycles of 250. But anyways, now we're going to start going crazy with explosives, because we have all the health in the world that we want. So we hop on over here, doing a cool trick. If we shoot this gate at a weak point, it'll just instantly destroy it with 1 Gauss shot. You're originally supposed to call an airstrike in on that gate to do a ton of damage, but you can find its weak point. And we're going to start Forget About Freeman, where we're going to be explosive boosting around. There are a bunch of Vortigons here. Chaos is erupting everywhere. And what we got to do is, Gordon Freeman is sent to end the action himself, as we're going to be finding our way into the Zen universe very shortly to go deal with the boss itself. Usually there's a cool Gauss boosting part in this section, but I don't have a lot of Gauss ammo, so I gotta sort it out. Here's a tank fight. It's a little slow. We'll just grenade boost over it. Coming to this next map here, where all chaos is everywhere. We'll be using this tank to open up that door over there. And coming up, these grunts actually have a chance of crashing our game, which would be very unfortunate, so we're just going to kill him on the spot. And the Hive Hand there, which was a gun we picked up back in Surface Tension, will actually reverse the polarity of that door, which is very helpful. We'll be falling down here and grabbing some grenades. Now that we have 10 grenades, again, explosive boosting is very helpful. We'll be using it to skip another room full of ninjas. If you remember this back in Apprehension, we just grenade boosted across it again. And now we have a little bit of time, so I can explain the NPC abuse in the next map. There are about 4 grunts in the map, and there's a guy stuck in an observation room up top. That observation room is where we need to go to progress. So once we kill the 4 grunts, he'll start a cutscene where he starts talking about stuff, about how we need to help the other scientists. However, if we scare him by shooting him in the chest through the wall, he'll stop his cutscene and run the wrong way. That's unfortunate. Usually he'll run into the other scanner and stop, but I'm assuming I did something wrong with the manipulation, but that's alright. We'll continue on. And this time I missed the shot to the door, but we can just substitute with a submachine gun shot right in the leg, and he'll go open the scanner for us. When the screen is fading to black, we can just save and load, and the game will forget all about it, which is nice. And now we have an elevator, so we have about 20 seconds of downtime if there are any donations to be read. I understand, guys, you're so busy typing in your comments, but we're going to get right back into the run. Make sure to get those done by the end of the run, though. Of course, this money is all going to sending speedrunners over to European Speedrunner Assembly. So it's a good cause. Anyways, here we're going to be doing a grenade boost to get through this water section. Normally you have to do some more swimming, but swimming through water is slow, so let's just get right up to the end. Using a grenade boost, stopping for a second, taking a breather, and then doing another SMG nade boost. Here we're charging up a full Gauss shot. And we're going to be avoiding a bunch of grunts here. Again, their damage does nothing to us when we have about 2,500 HP. We'll be boosting ourselves to the top here. Or maybe a little bit short of the top, but that's fine. We have some backups with a nade boost. And now here we're going to go into the Lambda Core, which is the name of this chapter. Here we get to restock on all our supplies, and health if we cared about that, but we really don't. We got a lot more than that. So if we shoot that guy through the wall, we'll scare him, and then we throw a grenade right behind us, and he'll open the door. Here's a nice little cutscene skip, where usually we have to wait for a large cutscene for that teleporter to be ready, because there's normally a kill trigger there. However, if we shoot a hive hand at the center of that teleporter, it'll absorb the kill trigger for us for just a couple of frames so we can pass through. And going to Zen here, we're able to skip a lot of this chapter because we simply have a lot of HP, so we can take the fall damage. Normally there's a small platforming section, but very slow, so. And coming up here, we're going to Garnark's Lair, which will be a mini boss fight. It's quite a nice breather before you get into the hectic endgame that is Interloper. But it's not too challenging. Of course, 1998 AI will always find its opportunity to get in your way, and sometimes Garnark will be a little bit of a nuisance. I want to say annoyance, but then I switched it to nuisance, oh well. It's grammatically incorrect, but hopefully we can get this fight correct. I was going to say grammatically correct, but that phrase didn't really work either, so we'll keep going with it. But yeah, this is Garnark. He's essentially a four-legged ball. There's of course a better word for that ball that I'm not going to say on stream. And we're going to be shooting him with fully charged gauss shots, and over here we'll be using the satchels. And yeah, and like any video game boss fight, the magic number will always be 3. There are 3 phases to this fight, and in each phase we will have to shoot him about 3 times, except for the third phase, but it's okay because the third phase we will completely skip. So yeah, after the second phase is very similar, just in a different scenario where we'll just shoot him 3 times after he stops in this place. But in the third phase, what will happen is, once we kill Garnark, there will be an explosion that simulates destroying the floor. Now, of course, that kind of sounds slow, killing people. Again, we've wanted to avoid fights this whole time. You know, Gordon Freeman's a little bit of a pacifist. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using all our explosives to simulate a Garnark dying, which you're going to see here. I'm going to focus all my trip mines and satchels at that one point. Didn't quite do it, but with some SMG shots we can get it. And we're going to start Interloper, which is probably one of the fastest chapters. Ooh, that was a little hectic. We're going to do a grenade boost right to skip that whole map. And because of the low gravity in Zen, we're able to do some really cool things regarding grenade boosting and gauss boosting. This map has a really cool B-hop sequence if I don't mess it up. We'll be bunny hopping around up that ramp and right into the next teleporter, into the next map. And we're going to start charging a grenade as we're going to be doing a grenade boost to skip this next part. Again, because of the late game, we have so many grenades and we have so much HP that we're essentially just skipping everything with another grenade boost there. These Vortigons aren't really a problem to us as we can B-hop right past them. And here are some Zen vents. They're quite slow. Again, crawling is quite slow, so after we strafe down here, I'm going to speed it up a little bit by throwing a nade. And here we're going to do a double explosive boost with a trip mine and an SMG mine to get past this whole odd platforming section right into the teleporter. And coming up is going to be Nihilinth, the final boss of the game. So that means time will be coming up shortly in about 30-ish seconds. Basically the way we're going to work is we're going to be throwing